This is the Cholo News Report for Sunday 21 January 2018. The Syrian army seizes control of the strategic Abu al-Duwa military airbase in the Idlib Governorate. Since mid-December, fighting has forced more than 212,000 people to flee their homes in the south of Idlib, and nearby parts of Homa and Aleppo provinces, the United Nations says. Ankara has warned the attacks will cause a new wave of migration, urging Russia and Iran to rein in the Syrian army offensive in Idlib, which borders Turkey. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a Britain-based war monitor, said the army and allied militia took full control of the airport after heavy airstrikes against the insurgents. At least 4 gunmen launched an attack on the Intercontinental Hotel in Afghanistan's capital of Kabul. Tolo showed images of people, apparently hanging off balconies, saying they were desperate guests and staff trying to escape from the burning hotel. Tolo and Afghan Station 1 TV News later quoted an Interior Ministry spokesperson as saying 5 civilians had been killed and 6 injured in the attack. 100 people have been rescued from the hotel, 16 of them foreigners, both broadcasters said on Twitter citing the ministry. The United States federal government shuts down after the United States Senate fails to pass a budget bill. In the fall of 2013, Republican hardliners engineered a 16-day shutdown of the federal government, implausibly insisting that President Barack Obama acquiesced to their demand that the Affordable Care Act be stripped of all funding. 4 Democrats on the ballot in many of the states that President Trump carried. The fresh government shutdown is unmistakably perilous, especially if it is seen as a strong-armed move to protect undocumented immigrants brought to this country illegally as children. At a White House briefing on Friday, Mr. Mulvaney insisted that a shutdown was not a desirable outcome, and that unlike the last such scenario under President Barack Obama in 2013, the Trump administration was doing everything possible to avoid a funding lapse. China claims its sovereignty was violated when the United States Navy ship sailed close to the Scarborough Shoal near the Philippines. The U.S. fears the outposts could be used to restrict free movement there, and has conducted several so-called freedom of navigation operations in the area. Tens of thousands of Romanians protest in Bucharest and major cities against perceived corruption and changes to judiciary. Romanians in diaspora stage protests in dozens of cities worldwide in solidarity with the anti-corruption movement in the country. Protesters briefly scuffled with riot police as they massed in Bucharest's University Square. Protesters of all ages came to vent their anger at the left-wing government, some accompanied by dogs or children. There were smaller protests in the cities of Cluj, Timisoara, Constanta, Bacău, Sibiu and Iose. The Social Democrats, who hold the majority of parliamentary seats, have been pushing to reverse some justice reforms, implemented at the request of the European Union. The party managed to pass a bill in December that prosecutors warned made them vulnerable to political pressure. Among them, Social Democrat leader Liviu Dragnea was sentenced to a 2-year suspended jail term after being found guilty of attempting to rig a 2012 referendum. A deluge of revelations about powerful men abusing women, leading to the Me Too moment, has pushed activists to demand deeper social and political change. Although Ms. McKenna credited Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who regularly describes himself as a feminist, for encouraging women to enter politics, she said their numbers still must increase, and not just in Canada.